All right. The gate tonight was 8.1 million. Attendance was 14,697. Fight of the night, McGregor Diaz. Performance of the night, Diaz and Tate. So congratulations. This thing right now it's breaking every record we've ever had. Pretty much biggest fight ever. Who's got the first question? Nate is will be here, and Conor should be here any minute.
Question for Misha. Congratulations, Misha.
Thank you.
Can you put into words what this means to you after what you've been through over the last couple of years, and especially after last summer when you had that great disappointment, and now to come back and win? How this feels for you?
I said that it felt like it was meant to be, and it does. Turns out I like gold. So I'm just excited to be here, man. And, right off the bat, I just want to say thank you to Holly for stepping up when she could have waited. Like, in my mind, that woman is still a champion, will always be, have a ton of my respect. And if I ever get the honor to step in there with her again, I would love to, so.
Maybe in your second title fight with Ronda, your emotions were difficult, and you seemed like you were able to control it tonight. You're going right down to the very edge of the fight, and I don't know if you were behind, but you were behind at that point. You had to make something happen. There's about 2 minutes to go in the fight. How were you able to remain calm and kind of keep in the moment, because you really pushed it right up to the last minute?
Yeah, my cornermen are always honest with me, and I appreciate that. They never lie to me. They went in there and said, she won. She looks like she's won 3 of the 4 rounds, so I haven't been able to see it yet, but I take their advice strongly. And Brian came in there and basically told me, you've got to go guns blazing. He said, you risk it to get the biscuit, essentially. So I knew that if I had to risk getting knocked out at that point, that's what was going to happen. But either way, I was anticipating on that fight getting finished in the 5th round. So.
Can you talk a little bit about, just for a layperson who's never had to do this, when Holly throws you over, how you hold on to that choke, and sort of like when you sort of felt her start moving, do you kind of cinch it a little bit more, knowing that?
Well, it was under the chin before she threw it over, but I just knew that I had to hang on, and I expect that people are going to try to get out of it with everything that they have, and I wouldn't expect anything less from Holly. She's man. She's tough as nails. Like, she really pulled the most out of me. Like, she made me a better fighter tonight, and I'm always thankful for that. So, she was giving everything she had to get out of that, and I just had to hang on for dear life, essentially. So I did.
Congratulations. One question for Holly. Holly, can you describe the final sequence in your mind? Sort of, did you make a mistake, or was it a good play by Misha's part?
I think that I just have to. For me, anytime in loss, I have to be honest with myself, and I feel like I knew I was ahead on the scorecards, and honestly, maybe I felt like I was getting a little too complacent there instead of being, still acting with that sense of urgency. And she got in. I should have been fighting the hands before doing that. I let her get it way too tight before I tried to just shuck her off. Just big mistake. Cost me everything tonight, but I'll be back.
And thank you. And Dana, one question for you, if I could. Obviously this scuttles your plans to a large way, having the people who lost. How do you now go ahead with UFC 200? Does Frankie Edgar get a title shot? Where do you go?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out. We weren't planning 200 till tonight played out anyway. So it's not like, listen, in 16 years in this business, the one thing you don't ever do is think you know what's going to happen, because you don't. That's why I always say the odds makers in this town are nuts. They are nuts.
And lastly, George was sitting here, and it didn't seem to be a coincidence that Conor's talking about he's fighting at 170, and all of a sudden George was in the house. Was there anything to that?
Trust me, that was a coincidence. There was no plan to have. Other people were asking me tonight, was he going to call out George, or was none? That was never a plan.
Well, I guess just to build on that. Was there any discussion at all, though, George? I mean, that's always the rumor, is whether he'll come back or not. Was there any movement?
It's still a rumor. I mean, George just wanted to come to the fights tonight. Have we been talking to George? Yes, we have. But who knows? I honestly, right here, right now, don't know if George still wants to fight. I don't know.
Fair enough. And, of course, don't matchmake, but with this loss with Conor, is the primary responsibility for him right now is to go back to 145 and defend that title?
I mean, I think that's what makes sense. You know what I mean? I mean, tonight, tonight was one of those nights. This was a fight. This is what this thing was built to be. This is what it was, everything that we talked about, and it lived up to everything that it was supposed to be. It was awesome. I mean, that fight was, I was saying to these guys earlier, so many celebrities tonight were interacting. When you deal with people who've seen it all, done it all, been everywhere, the big sporting events and everything, and everybody's standing around going, holy shit, what just happened? That's fun. You know what I mean? Tonight was a great night. The co-main and main event were amazing.
If I could for Misha, please. Talk about your mentality. You talked about the 5th round, but I want to know the 3rd and the 4th round. I mean, things were so close. You almost finished it early on. It slips out of your hand, and then she's picking up rounds. Your offense is kind of slowing down a little bit. In your head, did you ever feel like this is slipping away from you a little bit?
I mean, I had to be honest with myself at that point too, and I looked to my cornermans a lot for guidance there, because I don't know for sure, but I felt like, yeah, she was getting the better of me a little bit on the feet. I feel like I've improved a lot there to even be able to hang with someone of her caliber and, do what I did there. So I am happy with that, but yeah, she was definitely, I feel like, edging me out. And I thought in the 5th round, I've just got to give it everything that I have. I got to gut it out, and I've got to finish this fight. So that's what I was looking to do.
And you talked about coming into this fight, how refreshing it was to not have to deal with the whole Ronda angle and all the emotion and all that. But it seems like this fight now sets up another fight with Ronda. So sure, you want to enjoy the moment, but I mean, does that feel like the right move for you in the next fight?
The right move feels like drinking a Budweiser and eating cupcakes. That's what the right move feels like. And then I will talk to my, KHI in my management team, and we will discuss what's next, and we'll talk to UFC. My job as a champion is to fight the next best person, so whoever that is, I will fight him.
Thanks, Misha. And just quickly, for Corey, I think your fight tonight was one that people were debating a lot. Obviously, they started talking about the main and co-main afterwards, but people were saying, how did this fight play out? How did you have this thing scored? How did your corner score it? And did you feel like the decision and the scores were just?
I mean, I could say,
But for me, it's always 50-50 when you get in there. There's a winner and a loser, and that's all there is to it. And tonight, I do feel like I was doing enough to win the fight. She had a great 2nd round. I felt like, I had 1, 3, and 4, and even 5 until I slipped up there. And, it's a learning experience for me. I should have been fighting those hands right away. And, I should have just not gotten so complacent. I just feel like I didn't have, I kind of let my guard down a little too soon, and it cost me the fight.
And a question for Conor, right here. Conor, obviously I know it's a tough night. You go in there obviously up 2 weight classes. Obviously I know at the end of the day you did have respect for Nate Diaz. But kind of walk me through your emotions right now. I mean, obviously it was a big night for you and a big moment for the company. But what are you feeling right now?
It's a bitter pill to swallow. I took a shot. I went at it. I feel I was simply inefficient with my energy. Usually I fight a man in the division I am champion in, and they crumble under those shots. But Nate took them very well. The weight, I think, allowed him to take those shots well. So I think with a little bit of an adjustment and a recognition that the bigger man, you must be a bit more efficient with your striking. You must not put everything into the shots. But I was simply inefficient with my energy. I made some errors. Hats off to Nate. He fought very well. He stayed in there. A lot of people have crumbled under the shots, and his range was a factor. My left hand was falling short sometimes. The wheel kicks my wheel kicks weren't. I threw them and missed, and once or twice maybe hit a glove, and I think they done more to my energy than they did to his energy, and it was simply a battle of energy in there, and he got the better of that. So this is the game. We win some, we lose some. I will never shy away from a challenge. I will never shy away from defeat, or this is part of the game. So I'm happy to come out there, continue and stay in this fight. I had many chances to not do this and sit and wait, but I went in. I took the fight, and it didn't pay off. This is the fight business. It's another day. I'll come back.
I almost hate even asking you this question, Conor, because obviously you fought at lightweight before. You were a lightweight champion before. But does this, what direction does this put you in for what's next? I mean, is it a featherweight title defense? I know it's even hard to process this on the night, but where is your mind at with that?
I don't know. I know there's a lot of people celebrating this in the featherweight division. There are many people celebrating another man's victory. It's something that I cannot understand how somebody not involved can celebrate another man's victory. At the end of the day, I am the featherweight world champion. I feel it is right to go back down and remind them of what I achieved and what I done to that division. But I am not forgetting about the 155-pound division. I am not certainly forgetting about the 170-pound division. I actually enjoyed the fact that I enjoyed the fact that a person could take the shots and keep coming. He kept his composure. He went into almost autopilot mode with the shots. His face was bust up, and I went into panic mode. There was just a shift of energy, and he capitalized on it. I think with a bit of adjustment and a recognition that the heavier man can take, it must take more than one, more than two, more than three to put the heavier man away. I think if I can win with that mindset at a heavier weight, I will do fine again. But I think next is probably go back down and defend my featherweight crown.
Thank you, Conor.
Holly, obviously your competitive spirit, drove this decision to fight Misha now. How do you honestly, Monday morning quarterback this situation? How do you get better, and do you want to fight Misha UFC 200?
I want to fight Misha tomorrow, she would want the same thing, She's been around the sport a long time. I'm more anxious to get in and train right now than I have been in a long time. Everybody keeps, before this fight, a lot of people, why are you taking this fight? You should wait for the rematch. What? You know what? I'm in it to fight. That's what I'm in it for. And tonight I made some mistakes. And that's all it comes down to. I need to fix those mistakes. I'm going to come back stronger. Misha capitalized. And I've said this from the beginning. She's a scrapper, She can be behind in a fight and she can still finish. And I let my guard down. And it cost me the fight. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get back in the gym and get better. This is a whole different fight I had, and I do feel like my whole MMA career has been on this kind of fast course, which I love. I want the challenge, and I wanted to take this challenge, and I want to get it back in there. I want a rematch, or whoever they'll set up a fight with. I want that. I'm here to fight.
Thank you so much. And Conor, was there anything to this fight where 170 played a huge deal? What was the biggest deal about moving up to 170 in this fight?
I don't. It is what it is. He was a heavier. It was simply me fighting a heavier man, and that's it. But he could take a hell of a shot, and he's, him and Nick have that kind of style. They can take it and remain in there and remain in your face. In the second round, I was hitting glove. His range, he was coming close, and I was hitting glove, and that was kind of draining me. He was just simply more efficient with his energy. Stayed in my face, capitalized on it. I make no excuses. It is what it is. I came up short. I took a chance. It didn't pay off. I'll be back.